Taoiseach, I have praised you, Minister Harris, for the way that you have dealt with the pandemic, and mainly because of your medical background. We were lucky that we had a person from a medical background that was in that position, but for the last 9 years, you have forgotten about rural Ireland. When the pandemic hit, rural Ireland did not forget about us. They kept food on our tables, they kept drinking on our tables, and they kept us going through this pandemic. Yesterday has gone, today is here, and tomorrow hasn't come. How do we get our businesses and our country up and running? Let's move forward. 37 constituencies in Ireland, 11 in Dublin, and 19 seats were filled by independent in 26 constituencies outside of Dublin. What does this tell you? Yes, we all know that Dublin is the capital, but Limerick is my capital. I want to work with you and others. Others may come to Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil looking for positions. I don't want positions. I want to help and I want to work. I want direct access to ministers. I am for the betterment of Ireland. I want ministers positioned around the country, not just in Dublin, 7 at present. I want you to listen to the people of rural Ireland, and I will sit down with anyone and work collectively with them, bringing a voice for rural Ireland. Rural people are people that live outside of speed limits, such as small towns like Croom, Adair, Newcastle West and Kilmallock. Once you leave the speed limit, you have no rural broadband, you have no bus services. People have to drive to work. I do understand what is happening. I am self-employed myself. I am from a farming background. I've worked as a county councillor in Limerick City and County Council. What has COVID-19 taught us? Broadband is not fit for purpose. We need a collective approach. It is not viable in its present format. It needs to be grant-aided. Incentivise the private companies to look at the amber areas. It is easy to target the profitable areas. The information on amber areas in Ireland is well documented. They are cherry-picking the areas that are profitable and leaving the areas that are not profitable. They are massaging the figures. Realistically, it does not add up. How do we fix this? The word here is incentivise. Question. The Restart grant only covers people up to 50 employees. A progressive hotel in Limerick has seen bookings decimated for the year ahead. So much has been cancelled. They would have hoped to have up to 100 people employed by Christmas. And a question again. The World Health Organization states that social distancing is 1 metre. Social distancing in Ireland is 2 metres. It would be very difficult to run a business or run hotels at 1 metre. I wouldn't like to see your dinner coming at you at a 2 metre distance. So a bit of common sense here. And we have all here today have said that how different countries are dealing with different things and how you're learning from different countries. This is the World Health Organization, have it at 1 metre. Thank you.
Thanks, Deputy. This is something I've spoken about before myself. As I understand it, the most recent advice from the European Centre for Disease Control is 2 metres, and 2 metres is used in the UK and mostly across Europe as well. I see in other countries, I think Australia, New Zealand, they're talking about 1.5, and I see that the World Health Organization is talking about 1. So this is something that is under review. I think we all agree that getting the country going again would be a lot more practical, particularly in schools and in businesses, if it was 1 metre rather than 2. But ultimately, that is one of those things that is and should be a call for the Chief Medical Officer and the National Public Health Emergency Team. And while the government makes the decisions, I think there are some things that are pure public health advice, and that is one that I think we have to defer to them on. But I know they continue to consider evidence as it comes in. And we'll be considering that matter as well as we go on. Just to relate in defence of the outgoing government as it approaches the end of its term, I would like to point out that we established the Department of Rural and Community Development with a capital budget of €1 billion. And you can really see that taking shape now on the ground, whether it's the Town and Village Scheme, or LEADER, or CLOR, or Rural Recreation, or Greenways, really making a difference. We did sign the contract for the National Broadband Plan, Promise Forever. Now it's actually happening. A €3 billion investment in rural Ireland, the biggest investment in rural Ireland ever, connecting over 500,000 homes, farms and businesses to fibre over the course of the next 6 or 7 years, and that work is now underway. It's going to be about 100,000 premises a year. It's going to take time to do, but it is being done, and I hope that the new government won't cancel that contract and will honour it and make sure that that gets done. And we did get the road maintenance programme and roads programme going again, including the local improvement scheme. What we were unable to do, and I admit this, was we were unable to protect the incomes of farmers, particularly beef farmers. And that's something that I very much regret that we were unable to do. But I think that was largely due to factors well beyond our control.